Test, test, test. Okay.
Okay.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Corporatainment. I am here with a phenomenal actress, writer, and teacher named Paulina Pino Rubio. I'm going to pause and re-say that because it sounded terrible.
Don't worry.
Welcome back to another episode of Corporatainment. I am your host, Amora, and today I'm here with a wonderful actress, writer, and teacher, Paulina Pinto Rubio. Did I
Ah,
pronounce that?
you pronounce it perfectly, actually. And most people have problems with R's, but you
I had to get that.
did.
I had to get it. I have to get it now.
We can practice it.
Congratulations on your most recent audition. I'm super excited for you. What happened?
Oh, well, I've been casting like crazy in Facebook groups and everywhere I run into, So it's starting to give me some results. And I just did a casting right now and actually got selected
Oh my
immediately.
gosh! Congratulations!
I'm
I'm
so
so happy.
excited.
I am so excited to hear that as well too, because I know it can be kind of hard to chase after your dream in the arts and at the same time work a 9 to 5 job. And when you find that your results are finally paying off, it's like the best thing ever. I know that you used to be a kindergarten English teacher and you study international trade. So for you to move over to be an actress, that's a huge jump. I guess to start, I want to know, like, what was it like being an English teacher? Like, tell me your story there.
Okay, actually, it was my first job ever.
Mm.
So it was complicated because it's not easy to work with kids and it's not easy to work with kindergartens, Like you have to teach them how to go to the bathroom, you have to teach them not to bite anybody. So it's kind of complicated. My mom is a kindergarten teacher, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. But when I had my first job, it was with 32 kids in first grade of kindergarten. So it was
Wow.
insane. And
That
I had
is
only one,
insane.
yeah, and I had only one person helping me with the bathroom and everything. So I cried. The very first day, I cried on my way back home. Like, this is not for me. What am I doing? This is all messed up. But I kept on going. I needed the job. You have to go for it. You have to eat. So I stayed
Indeed.
there and I started to get prepared while I was working. So that was also kind of tricky because I was learning how to be a teacher and being a teacher at the same time. So it was intense. Definitely, it was a lot of work, but I remained as a teacher because I started to enjoy it actually. And kids are, I mean, it's wonderful to work with kids because once they start to be more confident in English, I was teaching them English. They start to talk in English, and it was so rewarding for me. And it was beautiful to see these little kids that they're barely speaking Spanish now speaking a second language because of me. So it was beautiful. I stayed as a
Wow.
teacher, only as a teacher, for 4 years in Cancun, in Mexico, and then in Puebla. That's my hometown. So I stayed like that. And then I started my degree in international trade while I was working as a teacher. Yeah. And I chose that because I've always liked business. I've always had like this thing for commerce. I'm very good at selling. And I saw in Cancun that that was paying off. So I said to myself, okay, girl, I like good things. I like good life. So let's get going. So that's why I chose it and started that degree. And I never really took off from modeling or small acting, like for commercials or stuff like that, extras or whatever. But I wasn't really taking it seriously until I finished my degree.
Thank you. I had myself on mute. 'Cause I don't want the audio to, like, sound bad, so I'm like, I mute myself to, like, avoid the background noise. Um, but that's wonderful. Question for you. What did you learn from working your stable slash 9 to 5 jobs that you were able to incorporate back into yourself when you started writing films and short films and getting into the acting scene?
Well, I learned a lot about discipline, about self management. Um, Trying to work on a schedule gives you the advantage of preparing yourself mentally and physically to do a certain job, and to give yourself to it from from a starting point to the point that you're gonna finish. I mean, if you're going to be working at an office from 9 to 5, your body itself programs to work in that office for
Right.
that period of time.
So
So
true.
I learned a lot about that. I learned a lot about discipline, about finances too, how to handle my finances, because I had an income from my job, I had an income from modeling or whatever I was doing, and I had an income maybe for tutoring or from selling things or whatever. So I had a lot of incomes, but I needed to organize myself not to spend it all, you know? So that was what I learned. And definitely right now, it has given me, it's that right now with COVID and working from home, what I do is that I also work on a schedule. I know that from 9 a.m., I have to be productive until probably 11:30, depending on my mood, depending on how well did I sleep the night before, all those kinds of things. And then I start again my productive time at 2 p.m. until 6. So it has given me that structure, and also to learn how real companies work. Because sometimes as a creative, you just think that you're just gonna create something out of the blue, like without a process. And that is what companies know, that processes have a reason to live. You need to start with the idea and then start developing it, and now integrate that into the creative process. It has given me a lot of structure, and I'm a Capricorn, so I need structures.
And I'm a Taurus too, so I need that structure too. Okay. Because what I learned by working in tech is that I looked at what I was doing every day when I came to work. And I said, okay, I noticed when you get hired at a new job, there's usually some sort of structure in place, and they have certain goals that they want you to accomplish by the end of the week, by the end of the month, and they're always measuring you. And I said to myself, I can literally make that a template for myself. Every day that I go into work, I have a certain routine that I do. I'm like, that's literally a template. I can copy that exact same template. It might be a little bit more flexible in the sense that I can wake up at 10 o'clock a.m. I don't have to wake up at 8 a.m. But it's easy because working on 9 to 5, oftentimes you get perspective like, oh, okay, whenever if you have a product, well, there's contracts in place for that. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, if I have my own business, I need to have certain contracts. Another thing that we don't really take advantage of, I think, when we're working our jobs is the people that we work with. It's like you work with lawyers when you're at work. So you could literally go to somebody's desk and pick their brain and just be like, hey, I have a question about ABC on your lunch break. And
Yeah.
it's like once you get that direction, it's a lot easier to know where you can go and find more information to apply to your business. But I think taking advantage of the resources that you have at work and just keeping a mental note of everything that they want you to do, know that they're doing it for a reason. Like for example, another thing that's really I think is awesome is when I work in tech, they're very big on security. And they're
Mhm.
not doing it because it's cute. They're doing it because they're trying to protect customers. They're doing it because they're trying to protect themselves. So, they use different softwares, password managers and stuff like that. And a lot of password managers are free for the simple subscription. And so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should get a password manager. If these tech companies are doing it, maybe that's something I should do too, and make sense out of it. So it's like I love that you said that you were kind of like learning, on the job as well too.
Exactly. You have to take advantage and take all the information that you are getting from anywhere to do it yourself for whatever the purpose you want. If you want to do it for another business, if you want to do it for your creative process, whatever you want, they are doing it because of something, because somebody probably messed up in the past. So
Exactly.
let's learn from their mistakes, right?
And you get paid to do it. That's the funny thing. You're getting paid to learn. Yes, you're getting
Exactly.
paid to do your job, and yes, you do your job as well as you possibly can do it because that's what you're there for. But you're also learning on the job, and that's one thing that got me, thinking when I was younger. I was like, "What's a way that I can learn while I'm on the job, and I don't have to worry about going into debt from a university?" If I don't have to, certain skills, certain things you have to go to university to study, but
Yeah.
there's some things you don't. You can always go back to university.
Exactly. And that is actually one thing that I have always thought about myself, Like I do teaching, I do trade, I do acting, I do writing. You never can get enough things for you to learn from. And everything at certain point, everything is going to merge somehow. But that is up to you, and that is up to your goals. And right now it's totally paying off for me because right now I have a structure. Right now I'm very organized with my time, and right now I get to do what I love most, that is acting, and also getting paid by doing something else. So it's amazing.
Brought up a good point, and from what I took from that is just being adaptable. And it leads me into like my next point. And I remember you and I talked about the importance of not putting all your eggs in one basket. And as a result, you also have your own peanut butter brand. And I thought that was just so creative that a peanut butter, I'm like, I would never even thought about a peanut butter brand. So how did you even come up with this idea that this was for you, and tell us how you got into it?
Well, it was certainly random, totally. Like, I started a diet, and the nutritionist told me, like, okay, you have to eat peanut butter, but you have to do it naturally. Like, you can't get like Skippies or Aladinos or whatever brand you want to say, and you have to do it yourself. Here's how you can do it. You just have to get yourself a food processor. And I'm like, okay, I have the food processor. Okay, I have peanuts. Okay, let's do it. And I did it. It was great. And then I started thinking, okay, in Mexico, we don't have like here in the States that you can go to the supermarket or whatever grocery store is your favorite and just grab the peanuts. We don't have that. We only have brands of different peanut butters that have conservatives, that have salt, that have sugar, that have tons of things that are not really good for your body. So I started thinking to myself, okay, what if I put this in a jar and then just sell it through Facebook, through Marketplace, through whatever? And I did, and I started it, and people loved it because it was cheaper.
Wow.
And it was cheaper. It was the jar that I use is made of glass, so you're not contaminating. And also, what I do is that I do refill. So you buy one it for a certain price, and then your second buy, if you give me the jar back, it's half the price. So it works for everybody. It works for the environment. It works for me. It works for the people. It's great, and actually it's still going while I'm here because I've been working with that for now it's going to be 2 years. So now I have people that can handle it over there in Mexico while I'm here in the States. So it's amazing.
What's the name of the peanut butter brand?
Peanut butter, because my last name is Pino, so I just added like a T for it to
That
become
is so
peanut.
cute.
It's quite simple,
That's
actually.
cute. You incorporate your name into the name of the peanut. It's just so cute. Play on words.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the previous people that I interviewed is very analytical, like an economist as well too. Like she's
Okay.
very analytical, and she's
Okay.
also a podcaster, loves food and just discovering new things. She has a question for you.
Oh my god.
So the question is this: if someone gave you $10,000 and there were no strings attached, meaning that you didn't have to pay taxes on it, you didn't have to give it back, it's like a donation, it's just given to you. What would you do with that $10,000?
Probably produce a short film and invest it. Yeah, definitely make it work for me. It's what I've
A
learned.
Capricorn.
It's the best thing that I can think of. Like make that money work for me. You know, it's I don't know. Right now with COVID and with all this situation, what I've learned is that you can never take for granted anything. Not even your job, not even your house, not even your health. So unfortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you see it, we live in a capitalist world. So we need money to live on it. So if I'm getting this gift, make it work, baby.
Yeah, that was a similar answer to what I had as well too. I was like, I wouldn't spend the entire bit of money
No,
because
I
I
mean,
look at it as might need it again in the future, and I
exactly.
want it to be available to me if I don't need it heavily right now.
Exactly. Of course, I thought immediately, like, traveling all around Europe. Of course, it would be lovely, But mm, then again, what happens if at certain point you're in Europe and another pandemic strikes and I don't know, maybe you get stuck in there and you spend all this money and what's gonna happen then. So definitely invested, and I'd love to produce a short film or a series about females, and I have a lot of text that I would love to produce. So definitely that, and invest the rest.
Have you thought about putting any like short films on YouTube as well too?
Yes, I have. The thing right now, well, the problem that I've been facing is that it's very difficult to film while COVID is happening. So I haven't really started that. I have the text, but I'm still like pulling it off, like making it perfect because Capricorn, of course, I have to make it perfectly. So it's been quite complicated for me. And also, I want to do it in English. So it's not as easy as if it was in Spanish, It's not my first language. So I think I don't have really a problem, but it's not the same, Most of the time, the vocabulary could be really basic or the expressions are not the same. So I'm trying to make it work perfectly so that this investment of the 10 grand will pay off also with that short film.
Don't forget to consider me if you need an actress or a singer in your
Oh,
podcast. Not podcast,
oh,
your film. Don't
also,
forget.
never, never, girl.
Yeah, that's such a cool idea. Like, I even thought about writing a script. I don't know. I tried it. I did half a page and then from there I was just kind of like, I'll come back to it, but I didn't. So, um people that can write amazing scenes and movies and films, I think I really admire them for that because it takes a lot of work to do and it's a lot of creativity involved. I don't know why I'm not able to talk. I'm not usually just going to relax a little bit.
Say aguacate many times. That's a trick I
Aguacate?
learned in aguacate, avocado, but it's a
Oh,
difficult word.
aguacate?
Aguacate,
Aguacate.
exacto.
Aguacate.
Aguacate,
Aguacate.
aguacate, aguacate, aguacate. And then you come
Aguacate.
back again.
Oh, look at me. I felt the gentleness in my shoulders kind of go down.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course, because you melt as an avocado melts in
Oh,
your mouth.
now people get mad at me, but I don't actually like to eat avocados. I appreciate them because they make my friends happy. I appreciate them because they make my friends happy. So you all can have all the avocado you want. See, it works out for everyone.
Exactly. Actually, my cousin and my soul sister, she's allergic to avocados. And I love them. I even have socks with avocados. Okay. I put it everywhere in my hair,
You
in
are
my
cute
in my
on socks.
everywhere. Yeah. So I think it's kind of the olive theory from How I Met Your Mother. If you find your soulmate and they don't like avocados, that person is meant for you. So, girl.
Okay, now question for you. What is a question that you might have for the next person I'm going to interview?
Okay. Um, what is the worst thing that has happened in your life that right now has made you believe that is a superpower?
Ooh.
Is that a good question?
I think so. I'm
Okay.
curious to see their answer.
Okay. What will be
Ooh.
yours?
Oh, um, ooh, I don't oh, the worst thing that has happened that I see now during COVID, it's actually that reveals my superpower or
Maybe, well, for example, I will give you my example. I
okay.
was abused when I was a child.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. It kind of gave me a lot of traumas while I was younger. And right now, I've been to therapy, I've talked about it. But
Mm,
now, what it has given me, it's a voice for women and for people around the world to tell them,
mm,
okay, this is abuse. This is not okay. Okay. And this is what you can legally do against
mm,
those people.
mm,
So it kind of gave me this superpower to believe in myself, to believe that the world can be a better place, and that men have taken away a lot of things from us, but they are not going to take them anymore. So now it's a superpower.
wow. That's beautiful and that's amazing. I'm sorry that you went through that. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It just makes me so sad to hear when people hurt children because they are innocent, they can't do nothing. It makes me sad when people hurt each other. So I wish I can give you a hug right now. So here's a virtual.
I feel it. I feel it. Thank you so
Oh.
much. And I mean it's complicated and it's a complicated thing, but actually a lot of people are coming out to say their
Mm,
stories. And I know that my story is not the first and it's not going to be the last, sadly.
mhm,
But if I
mm,
can maybe inspire someone or tell someone where to go in case of, that is the best reward I can get.
mm. That's beautiful. I'm gonna put a link in this video as well too for people to seek help as well too.
Yeah.
Um, thank you. One thing that I struggled with a lot was just not knowing. I always wanted to be a performer and an entertainer and a singer, and I never had direction of how I was going to get there. I never had direction of that. So I always dreamed that it would happen, and I knew that I needed to put in work, but I didn't really have very good direction on how to do that. And that was before social media became a big thing. But now during COVID, I'm able to work on this podcast and I'm able to do TikTok videos and I'm able to all the random things that come to my mind, there's a place for it now. Because it can go into content that I can put online and share with other people. So, all that random stuff that would go through my head and just creativity, there's a place for it now. And so that's my
You can
superpower
now
is
put
that
them into a place. Wow.
yeah. And so it's great to see that like, there are other people that are like that and I'm able to follow them on social media accounts as well too and be like, "Oh, cool. There's a place for this now." Cuz I've always been a super outgoing, bubbly person. Like that's always been my personality. But I just never knew where to put that. You work an office desk, an office job. Um it's not really a place for that there. So it's kind of like
Mm.
I would still make my place while I was at work to do that. But now I feel like, wow, now that I have my own podcast, I can actually be my personality and my own self and be wild, hey, if I want to.
Hi!
And it's if it
Exactly.
fits. Hey, so I'm really happy. So that's my
Thanks, COVID,
superpower.
right?
Yes,
Thanks,
thank you
COVID.
to COVID in that way. That's the only thing I'm grateful for with COVID. Otherwise, COVID is terrible. Woo!
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But I thank COVID too, because otherwise I wouldn't be here in California. So thanks, COVID, for
Oh,
giving me
yay!
something good. Yeah.
Absolutely. Paulina, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time.
It was such a pleasure to be with you. You're lovely and amazing. And please keep on doing this because you're inspiring a lot of people to get out of their comfort zones and do what their heart is telling them to do. So Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.